A millionaire overheard her speaking Chinese. What happened next changed both their lives. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is now. Subscribe to the channel and let's get started. The Manhattan restaurant buzzed, a hive of clinking glasses and murmured deals. Emma Carter wove through tables, her tray steady, her smile a practiced mask. Her dark hair clung to her neck, damp from the rush. Table 12 needed wine. Table 9, more bread. Her phone vibrated in her apron, ignored. Her mother's hospital bills loomed like storm clouds, but she moved faster, as if outrunning them. Nathan Reed sat at table 4, his suit sharp as a blade. His associates, sleek in their wealth, leaned in, voices low. Reed Tech's China deal was slipping. A competitor had leaked specs, a betrayal Nathan couldn't trace. His gaze scanned the room, missing nothing. He sipped his water, fingers tight on the glass. Failure wasn't an option. Emma reached their table, pouring wine with a steady hand. "Anything else, gentlemen?" Her voice was warm, a flicker of light in the din. Nathan's gaze flicked up, then away. She was just a waitress, invisible. Her phone buzzed again, insistent. She glanced at the caller ID, Dr. Ellis, Reed Tech consultant. Her heart sank. She stepped back, slipping behind a pillar. "Yes, doctor," she whispered, answering. Her Mandarin flowed, flawless, urgent. "The treatment. How much longer can we wait? The cost." Her voice dipped, sharp with technical terms. Biomedical, experimental, funding. She paced, clutching her apron, unaware of Nathan's head tilting, his ears catching words that didn't belong. Phase trials, proprietary compounds. His jaw tightened. Who was she? Emma hung up, eyes stinging. She straightened, smoothing her apron. Back to table 4. "More wine?" she asked, voice steady again. Nathan's stare pinned her, unreadable. "You speak Mandarin," he said, not a question. She blinked, caught. "Yes, sir. A little." Her smile wavered, a crack in her armor. His associate, tasked with tracing the leak, chuckled. "More than a little. Sounded like you were negotiating a tech deal." Emma's cheeks warmed. "Just a call," she said, turning away. Nathan's voice stopped her. "What's your name?" She hesitated. Emma Carter." His gaze narrowed, a flicker of something. Recognition? Impossible. He nodded, dismissing her. She moved to the next table, but her pulse raced. Nathan's gaze lingered, heavy as a breeze over rice fields. He leaned toward his associate. "Find out who she is." The man nodded, pulling out his phone. Nathan's fingers tapped the table, restless. Her words echoed in his mind. Too precise, too familiar. Reed Tech's deal hinged on secrecy, and this waitress, with her sharp tongue and tired eyes, knew more than she should. Emma cleared plates, her hands quick, her mind elsewhere. Dr. Ellis's words clung to her. Experimental treatment. Last chance. She needed money, not curiosity from a CEO. Yet Nathan's stare burned, like a spark in dry grass. She glanced back. He was watching, his face a mask, but his gaze held a question she couldn't read. The night blurred on. Orders, trays, forced smiles. Nathan's table left, his card swiped, a tip too generous. Emma pocketed it, guilt prickling. She didn't want his pity. Her shift ended, and she stepped into the alley, the city's hum swallowing her. Her phone pinged, a text from an unknown number. "Meet me tomorrow. 8 a.m. Reed Tech." Nathan Reed. Her breath caught. Why her? She leaned against the brick wall, the night air cool on her skin. Her mother's face flashed in her mind, pale, smiling, fading. Her breath caught, sharp and sure. She'd go, for the money, for answers. But Nathan's gaze haunted her, searching, like he'd seen something in her she didn't know herself. Across the city, Nathan sat in his office, the skyline glittering beyond. Emma Carter's name glowed on his screen, her background sparse, linguistics dropout, single mother, hospital debts. Nothing explained her words, her ease with secrets that weren't hers. His fingers paused over a photo, her face tired but fierce. Carter, his mother's maiden name. A coincidence, surely, yet his pulse quickened, a shadow stirring, like a sparrow's fleeting flight at dawn. Emma's shoes clicked on Reed Tech's marble lobby, the sound sharp against her racing pulse. 8 a.m. and the glass tower loomed, cold and gleaming. She smoothed her borrowed blazer, too tight at the shoulders, and clutched her bag. Inside, a snapshot pressed against her wallet, her mother young beside a man whose shadow lingered, a talisman against the unknown. Nathan's text had been curt, commanding. She was here for money, she told herself, not him. Yet his gaze, searching from last night, clung like a temple's fading bell. The receptionist, all polished smiles, waved her to the elevator. "Mr. Reed's expecting you." Emma nodded, her throat dry. The doors closed, and her reflection stared back. Hazel eyes shadowed, hair escaping its bun. She looked small, out of place. The elevator hummed, climbing to the 40th floor. Her phone buzzed. Dr. Ellis again. She silenced it. No time for bad news. Nathan's office was a fortress of glass and steel. He stood by the window, back to her, his suit immaculate. "Ms. Carter," he said, turning. His voice was smooth, but his gaze cut, searching. "Sit." She did, hands clasped tight. "You're a linguist," he said, not asking. "Mandarin, technical vocabulary, impressive for a waitress." His tone was neutral, but his fingers tapped his desk, restless. "I studied at NYU," she said, voice steady, "before I had to leave." No need to mention her mother, the hospital, the bills. He leaned forward. "I need an interpreter. Beijing, 3 weeks, confidential negotiations. You'll be paid well." Her pulse quickened. "Well enough for the treatment?" "Why me?" she asked, bolder than she felt. His gaze flickered, unreadable. "You're unexpected." She hesitated, the weight of her mother's fading smile pressing her. "I'll do it." The words felt like a leap into fog. Nathan nodded, sliding a contract across the desk. "Sign. We leave tomorrow." "Tomorrow." Her stomach twisted, but she scrawled her name, her hands steady despite the tremor within. He watched, silent, like a hawk tracking a sparrow. Back home, her apartment was a cramped refuge. Dishes piled, air heavy with worry. She sank onto the couch, pulling the snapshot from her bag. Her mother, radiant, stood beside a man, tall, sharp-cheeked, a shadow like Nathan's. Her father, gone before she was born. She'd never questioned him, not when her mother's love was enough, but now Nathan's face haunted her, a mirror to the stranger in the frame. Carter, his mother's name she'd read online. A coincidence, surely. Her phone rang. Dr. Ellis. "Emma," he said, voice low. "The treatment's funded for now, but it's tight. Don't mess this up." She frowned. "Mess what up?" A pause too long. "Your job with Reed. Reed Tech's board trusts me with more than medical records, Emma." Her grip tightened. "How do you know about that?" His voice hardened. "Just focus, Emma. Keep it quiet." The line went dead, leaving her cold. Connected how? She packed that night, movements quick, mechanical. A suitcase, a few clothes, her mother's old scarf for luck. She dreamed faintly of a place where her mother's lessons could live on, a fleeting hope amid the rush. The snapshot stayed out, its edges worn from her touch. She traced the man's face, her father's face, and Nathan's shadow loomed larger. Her heart thudded, a warning. She shoved the snapshot into her bag, zipping it shut like sealing a secret. Morning came too fast. At the airport, Nathan waited, his presence commanding even in the chaos. "Ready, hi?" he asked, handing her a ticket. She nodded, her lips pressed thin, avoiding his gaze. The plane's hum drowned her thoughts, but his nearness, his cologne, his quiet breathing, stirred her. He was a stranger, a boss, nothing more. Yet his silence felt heavy, like a village dusk. In Beijing, the city pulsed, alive with neon and noise. Their hotel gleamed, all glass and gold. Nathan briefed her in his suite, papers spread across a table. "These talks are delicate," he said, voice low. "One slip, and we lose everything." She nodded, her mind sharp despite the jet lag. His trust in her, sudden and absolute, felt like a weight she hadn't earned. That night, alone in her room, exhaustion settled like dust. Her mother's scarf lay folded, its threads worn but warm. Nathan's face, so like the man's in the snapshot, pressed against her mind. Her chest ached, a truth ringing, soft but clear. She hadn't asked Dr. Ellis enough, hadn't pushed. But his warning echoed. "Keep it quiet." Quiet about what? Nathan's deal, or something deeper? She tucked the scarf away, her hands trembling. Outside, Beijing glittered, vast and unknowable, like the secret she sensed but couldn't name. Beijing's skyline glittered beyond the conference room, a maze of lights against the dusk. Emma sat across from Nathan, papers strewn between them, the air thick with tension. The Reed Tech deal teetered, Chinese partners wary, leaks circling like vultures. Her Mandarin flowed, sharp and precise, translating Nathan's clipped demands into smooth diplomacy. The partners watched, impressed but silent. Nathan's hand paused over a pen, a fleeting tremor Emma caught, his eyes shadowed but keen. Her pulse raced, not from the work but from his gaze, heavy as a sparrow's fleeting shadow. She pushed on, voice steady, masking the ache in her chest. A Reed Tech medical form, glimpsed among the papers, bore Dr. Ellis's signature, her mother's doctor, here in Nathan's world. The sight jolted her, but she focused on the next clause, the next phrase. Emma noticed Zhang's sharp glance, a reminder of the stakes beyond her heart. Last night's snapshot, her mother beside a man like Nathan, gnawed at her. She shoved the thought down, her grip tightening on her pen. The meeting broke, partners shaking hands, their smiles tight. Nathan leaned close, his breath warm. "Good work, Emma." His voice was low, almost soft. Her cheeks warmed, and she ducked her head, gathering papers. "Just doing my job." He lingered, watching, then turned away, barking orders to his team. She exhaled, her hands trembling. His nearness stirred something. Dangerous? Unnameable? Later, in a dim hotel bar, Nathan found her nursing a tea. "Mind if I join you?" He didn't wait for an answer, sliding into the booth. His tie was loose, hair slightly mussed, a crack in his polished armor. "You're not what I expected," he said, sipping a whiskey. She raised an eyebrow. "What's that mean?" He smirked, faint. "Most interpreters bore me. You? Don't." Her heart skipped, but she laughed, sharp and quick. "Glad I'm entertaining." Their talk turned easy, unguarded. He spoke of Reed Tech's pressure, the weight of a legacy he never wanted. She shared scraps of her past, NYU, linguistics, her mother's love for poetry. Not the hospital, not the bills. Their laughter mingled, a fleeting warmth. His hand brushed hers, accidental, and neither pulled away. The air shifted, charged like a breeze before rain. Her phone buzzed, shattering the moment. "Dr. Ellis," she excused herself, stepping into the hall, her stomach twisting. "What now?" she hissed, voice low. His tone was grave. "Emma, listen carefully. Nathan Reed, he's your half-brother, same father. Your mother's treatment depends on you keeping this quiet." The words hit like a slap, cold and sharp. "What?" Her voice cracked. "How do you know this?" Ellis sighed. "I've worked with Reed Tech. Medical records don't lie. Your father left you both. If Nathan learns, he'll cut you off. The treatment stops." She leaned against the wall, dizzy. "You're lying." But his silence was answer enough. "Keep it quiet," he repeated, and hung up. She stood frozen, her mother's old lullaby humming in her mind, soft as a village dusk. Nathan, her brother, the man in the snapshot, her father, his father. Betrayal, abandonment, woven into their blood. She saw Nathan through the bar's glass, laughing softly, his face lit by candlelight. Familiar now, not just in memory but in truth. His sharp cheekbones, his quiet gestures, her father's shadow, alive in him. Her chest ached, a truth piercing like starlight. She returned, forcing a smile, her grip tight on her cup. "Everything okay?" Nathan asked, eyes searching. "Fine," she lied, her voice a whisper. She sipped her tea, cold now, and changed the subject. "Tell me about Beijing. You've been here before?" He nodded, launching into a story, oblivious to her turmoil. Her mind spun, replaying Ellis's words. Nathan's smile. Brother, lover, stranger. The lines blurred, and she clutched her cup, anchoring herself. The night ended, and they parted in the hotel lobby, his hand grazing her arm. "See you tomorrow," he said, voice soft. She nodded, unable to meet his eyes. In her room, the lullaby lingered, her mother's voice a fragile thread to a past she couldn't escape. The truth reshaped him, a familiar face seen anew, like a village path under moonlight. Beijing's lights pulsed outside, indifferent, as she lay awake, caught between love and blood, truth and survival. The Beijing conference room crackled with tension, voices sharp as knives. Emma sat beside Nathan, her Mandarin cutting through the Chinese partner's hesitations, her words a bridge over mistrust. Reed Tech's deal hung by a thread, leaked specs, wavering investors. She translated Nathan's measured tone, her voice steady despite her secret held her silent. She gripped her pen, focusing on the next clause, the next lie. A junior partner, Lee, fidgeted, his eyes darting, as if guarding a secret. Emma caught it, a flicker of doubt. She leaned in, her tone soft, disarming. Mr. Lee, perhaps a clarification on the timeline? Her Mandarin was warm, coaxing. Lee hesitated, then nodded, spilling concerns about production delays. Lee's guarded glance hinted at the leak, a puzzle she couldn't yet solve. Nathan's gaze flicked to her, a spark of gratitude. She'd saved the moment, and his fleeting grin, brief, unguarded, felt like sunlight on frost. Her heart twisted, caught between warmth and the truth she held silent. The meeting adjourned, partners mollified for now. Nathan lingered, gathering papers. "You're a natural," he said, voice low. She shrugged, deflecting. "Just words." But his gaze held hers, heavy, searching. More than that. Her cheeks warmed, and she turned away, busying herself with her notes. His nearness was a danger she couldn't name, like a bamboo sway in the evening breeze. That evening in the hotel's quiet lounge, Emma shared tea with Lee, who was still nervous, his hands restless. She poured from a small tin. Her mother's blend, floral and earthy, a village recipe. "Try this," she said, her smile gentle. "It calms the nerves." Lee sipped, his shoulders easing, and spoke of his fears. Pressure from his bosses, a family waiting at home. His eyes darted as if guarding a secret, but her tea softened his guard. Emma listened, her mother's grace in her nod, her quiet words. "You're doing your best, that's enough." Lee exhaled, grateful, and left lighter, a small bond forged. Later he caught her eye, nodding gratitude, a silent ally in the deal's storm. Nathan watched from across the room, his whiskey untouched. Emma's kindness, so effortless, stirred something in him, a longing buried under years of steel. He crossed to her, sitting uninvited. "You didn't have to do that," he said, nodding toward Lee's empty seat. She shrugged, pouring him tea. "People need to be seen." Her voice was soft, but her eyes, hazel and fierce, held a challenge. He took the cup, their fingers brushing. The scent hit him. Jasmine, earth, a memory he couldn't place. His brow furrowed, a shadow stirring. "Where's this from?" he asked, voice tight. "My mother's village," she said too quickly. "Upstate." A lie, small but sharp. He sipped, eyes distant, and she saw it. A flicker of recognition, like a boy tasting home. Her heart pounded. The tea, her mother's, their father's, tied them to a past neither knew fully. She changed the subject, her laugh forced. "Tell me about your worst deal." He smirked, launching into a story, but his hand stayed near the cup, as if holding on to something lost. Later, alone in her room, her mother's poetry echoed, urging her forward, a rhythm of loss and love. The tea's scent lingered, a thread to a memory she hadn't known she shared. The truth of their blood pressed heavier, a stone in her chest. Her fist clenched, resolve hardening. Nathan in his sweet paced, the tea's taste haunting him. Jasmine, earth, a summer long gone. His mother's kitchen, a rare day of warmth. A man, his father, pouring a cup. The memory was faint, a ghost, but Emma's face sharpened it. Carter, her name, his mother's name. He opened his laptop, digging deeper into her file, but found only fragments. NYU, dropout, debt. Nothing explained the tea, the pull he felt. His fist clenched, restless. Emma lay awake, the city's hum a distant pulse. Nathan's grin, Lee's relief, her mother's tea. They wove a fragile thread, tying her to a past she couldn't escape. The truth of their blood pressed heavier, a stone in her chest. She saw Nathan's face anew. Not just her brother, but a man searching, like her, for something true. The truth hid in what she couldn't say, a memory unlocked by a single act, unnoticed until now, like a bamboo sway in the evening breeze. Beijing's pulse bled through the hotel curtains, casting shadows on Emma's face as she pored over negotiation notes. Her pen scratched, quick and precise, but her mind churned. Nathan, her half-brother, his smile too warm, his touch too close. Her secret weighed heavy like a wound unhealed. She pushed the thought aside, focusing on clauses, timelines, anything but his searching gaze, shadowed like her father's in that snapshot. Nathan knocked, sharp and sudden. "Ready?" He stood in the doorway, his suit loosened, tie askew. She nodded, gathering papers, her chest tightened. They worked late, side by side, the room humming with unspoken tension. His voice, steady, outlined strategies, but his glances lingered, heavy with meaning. "You're good at this," he said, pausing. "Not just words. You see people." Her throat tightened. "Someone has to." Her voice was soft, a shield against the warmth in her chest. Their hands brushed over a contract, and neither pulled away. His fingers, warm, lingered a moment too long. Her pulse quickened, betraying the truth she carried. "Emma," he said, quieter now. "Why do you push so hard?" She froze. "Bills," she said, half true, eyes on the table. "Family." He nodded, his gaze piercing. "You're more than that." Her laugh was sharp, deflecting. "Don't get soft on me, Reed." But her heart ached, torn by love and duty. The next day, negotiations surged, Emma's Mandarin a lifeline through the haze. She caught every nuance, weaving trust where doubt crept. Li whispered to Zhang, hinting at a source. The leak's root still veiled. Zhang's nod felt like trust earned, grounding her amidst her heart's turmoil. Zhang's brief smile praised her skill, a rare warmth. Nathan watched, his pride quiet. A nod here, a glance there. During a break, he handed her tea, fingers brushing. "You're saving this," he said, voice low. She smirked, masking the storm within. "Just earning my paycheck." His grin, fleeting, felt like a vow she couldn't keep. That night, they walked Beijing's streets, the city alive with vendors and laughter. His guard down, Nathan's laugh rang free as they shared dumplings from a cart. "Ever think about going back?" he asked, meaning NYU. She shrugged, resolve firm. "Some doors close for good." His gaze softened and he stepped closer, his hand grazing her arm. "Not all of them." Her chest tightened, the air charged like a lotus rising through storm. She wanted to lean in, to forget, but the truth held her, a stone in her throat. She pictured a haven where women like her could rise, a dream sparked by Lee's quiet trust. In that crowded street, she chose to shield Nathan, her mother's treatment, her anchor. The choice hung heavy within, a jagged rift. Her secret weighed heavy, a stone she couldn't cast away. She rejoined him, forcing a laugh, but the vow seared, her love for him, brother yet more, a wound unhealed. Back at the hotel, they reviewed final terms, voices soft in the late hour. His hand found hers, deliberate, his thumb tracing her knuckles. His fingers tapped the table, a rhythm her mother tied to their father, unsettling her. "Emma," he murmured, and she met his eyes, her resolve fraying. "We shouldn't," she whispered, yet lingered. The room shrank, just them, until her phone lit up. A hospital update, her mother stable, treatment funded another month. Relief surged, but the rift deepened. The truth a burden she bore alone. She pulled away, gathering her things. "Early day tomorrow," she said, voice tight. He nodded, confusion flickering, but let her go. In her room, Nathan's tapping echoed, tying her to a past she couldn't flee. Beijing's lights pulsed outside, her heart rippling outward, love and truth clashing, sealing one wound but splitting another, like a lotus rising through storm. Beijing's dawn painted the sky in soft pinks, but Emma's eyes burned, sleepless. The hotel room felt too small, its silence loud with the secret she carried. Nathan, her half-brother, her heart's forbidden pull, waited downstairs for the final negotiation. Her shoulders tensed, a vow to protect her mother's treatment, holding her steady. Dr. Ellis's warning echoed. "No mistakes, Emma." She dressed quickly, her hands sure but her chest tight, like a heron's silent glide over a still pond. In the conference room, the air was electric, sharp with stakes. Nathan stood at the head, his suit crisp, his voice commanding. Emma sat beside him, her Mandarin a lifeline, weaving trust through the Chinese partner's final doubts. Her words flowed, precise, but her mind drifted to last night, his hand on hers, his whispered Emma, the love she couldn't name. She caught his glance, brief and warm, and her heart lurched. Brother, lover. The lines blurred, a wound she couldn't close. The lead partner, Ms. Zhang, leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. One concern remains, security protocols. A leaked spec had resurfaced, threatening to unravel everything. Emma's pulse spiked. She translated, her voice calm, but saw Nathan's shoulders tensed, his fingers curling. "We've addressed this," he said, tone clipped. Emma jumped in, unprompted, her Mandarin soft but firm. "Read text new encryption exceeds industry standards. We've shared the data." She slid a folder across, her eyes meeting Zhang's, steady, disarming. A beat of silence, then Zhang nodded, satisfied. Her quiet, "well done" to Emma sealed their respect. Nathan's gaze flicked to her, pride flashing before he masked it. The room exhaled, papers signed, hands shaken. The deal was done. Applause rippled, but Emma felt hollow, her secret a shadow in the victory. Nathan leaned close, his breath warm. "You were the difference, Emma." His voice was low, intimate, and her throat burned. "Team effort," she muttered, avoiding his eyes. His hand grazed her arm, a spark she couldn't afford. After, Lee pulled Emma aside, his voice low. The leak, it was a Reed Tech engineer, bitter over a demotion. It's handled now. She nodded, relief sharp but fleeting. The deal was safe, but her heart wasn't. She rejoined Nathan and they walked Beijing's quiet streets, the city settling into dusk. The crowd thinned, leaving them in a pocket of stillness. Temple lanterns glowing like fireflies. Nathan's guard was down, his shoulders loose. You ever feel alone, even in a crowd? He asked, voice soft, his eyes on the horizon. She stopped, caught by the vulnerability in his face. So like her father's, yet his own. Every day, she said, too honest. He turned, his gaze piercing. Not tonight. Her heart cracked, love and truth colliding like rivers meeting the sea. They paused by a street vendor, the air thick with sesame and spice. Nathan rubbed his thumb, a quirk her mother swore their father had, stirring unease. His eyes lingered as if the name Carter carried a weight he couldn't place. She froze, her lie about her past fraying. Just a name, she said, too quick. He let it go, and they walked on, the silence heavy, like a song caught in the throat. My foundation could support work like yours, he said, casual but pointed. She tucked the thought away, her mother's dream stirring. Her phone buzzed. Dr. Ellis. She stepped aside, heart pounding. It's done, she whispered. The deal's signed. His voice was cold. Good, treatment's extended. My work with Reed Tech ends here, Emma. You're on your own now. She gripped her fist. I'm not your pawn. He sighed sharp. You're her daughter. You'll do what it takes. The call ended, Nathan watching from a distance, his face unreadable, a man seeking answers she couldn't give. Back at the hotel, they sat in his suite, reviewing the signed contracts, the city's pulse faint beyond the glass. His hand found hers, deliberate, his thumb tracing her knuckles. Emma, he said, voice raw. What are we doing? Her breath hitched, the question a blade. She saw her mother's gentle gaze, their father's shadow, the love she shouldn't feel. I don't know, she whispered, honest at last. His eyes softened and he leaned closer, their foreheads nearly touching. I'm tired of being alone, he said, barely audible, a confession that broke her. She pulled back, trembling, the secret a wall between them. We can't, she said, voice cracking. His confusion flashed, but she stood, gathering her things. Early flight tomorrow, she lied, her heart screaming to stay. He nodded, hurt flickering, but let her go. In her room, she sank to the floor, Nathan's thumb rubbing echoing in her mind, a fragile thread to a past she hadn't sought. She walked Beijing's streets alone, the temple lanterns dimming, their glow a faint echo of her resolve. By a quiet canal, she saw her mother's dream, a haven for the silenced, a purpose beyond this deal. She saw Nathan as family, his warmth of brothers, not a lover's, a truth settling soft. Nathan in his suite, paced, the quirk of his thumb haunting him. Carter, Emma's face. They gnawed at him. He opened his laptop, her file glowing. NYU, dropout, Carter. A suspicion stirred, too faint to name, but her eyes, hazel and fierce, held a truth he hadn't found. His jaw tightened, the loneliness he'd confessed still raw. Emma stood by the canal, its water reflecting stars, her reflection not just a daughter, a waitress, but a woman with purpose, forged in sacrifice. The secret had sealed her mother's care, but opened a deeper rift, love and truth at war within her. She saw Nathan's face, not just her brother, but a man seeking connection, like her, in a world of shadows. What she'd sought, his love, his trust, wasn't what she found. Instead, a quiet reckoning bloomed, a purpose beyond romance, like a kite's drift in the evening sky. New York's morning hummed, crisp and alive, as Emma stood before Carter House, its fresh paint gleaming under the sun. The sign was simple, bold, a language and job skills center for immigrant women, her mother's dream reborn. Her hands trembled, smoothing her dress, months of sketch plans now real, fueled by Beijing's lessons. She'd funded this with savings, grit, and Nathan's grant, a seed planted in Beijing's quiet streets. The secret, Nathan, her half-brother, her heart's once forbidden ache, lingered like a heron's silent glide over water. Inside, women gathered, their voices a soft chorus of Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic. Emma moved among them, her smile warm, her words steady. "You're here to build," she said, handing out workbooks. Their eyes, hopeful and tired, mirrored her own. A message from Lee, wishing Carter House well, warmed her, his gratitude a quiet echo from Beijing. Her mother's photo hung on the wall, smiling, a beacon of what love could do. The opening ceremony buzzed, local reporters snapping photos, community leaders shaking hands. Emma spoke briefly, her voice clear but soft, like a stream finding its course. "This is for those who carry dreams in silence," she said, her eyes stinging. The crowd clapped and she stepped back, her heart full yet heavy. Nathan's absence was a wound. His face, her father's face, etched in her mind. Their last moment in Beijing, a whispered goodbye. Then a stir at the door. Nathan entered, his suit tailored, his presence commanding. The room hushed, eyes turning. Emma froze, her pulse racing. He hadn't called, hadn't written, not since she'd left his world. His gaze found hers, soft and blue like dawn breaking. He'd traced Carter, his mother's name, to a faded letter from his father, naming Emma's mother. The truth had found him. He crossed to her, the crowd parting, and stopped, close enough for her to catch his cologne, the same as that Beijing night. "Emma," he said, voice low, public yet intimate. "I'm here for Carter House, for you." Her breath caught. He turned to the crowd, his tone steady. "This woman saved my company's future. But more, she's my sister, my home." The words landed soft, deliberate. Their love, once tangled, settled into something truer, a bond beyond desire. Her chest ached, the secret no longer a stone but a shared breath. The crowd murmured, moved, but Emma saw only him, his hand extended, palm up. She took it, her fingers trembling, their clasp a quiet vow, like hands meeting in morning light. "Thank you," she whispered, voice breaking. He squeezed her hand, his grin faint, real. She pulled a snapshot from her pocket, her mother radiant, their father's face worn but vivid. "This is yours too," she said, handing it over. Her mother's lessons, captured in that snapshot, lived in this place. He studied it, his jaw tight, then tucked it away, his hand finding hers again. They stepped outside, the ceremony fading behind them. The city pulsed, indifferent, but their silence was warm, whole. "You didn't have to come," she said, avoiding his eyes. He tilted her chin, gentle. "I did. For you. For us." Her laugh was soft, shaky. "Us?" His nod was slow, certain. "Whatever that means, I choose it. A connection, raw and true, like a village path under starlight." "We'll figure it out," he said, voice steady. She nodded, tears falling, the weight of secrets lifted, not gone but shared. Carter House stood behind them, its doors open, voices spilling out. Emma exhaled, her heart tender, not healed but held, like a dawn breaking slow. Nathan's hand stayed in hers. Their steps matched, a path forward. Not perfect, but theirs. The city hummed, the sun climbed, and they walked on, hands clasped, a peace as soft as a heron's glide over water. This story moved you, if it reminded you that hope can be found in the most surprising moments, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Love Story. We bring you stories that touch the soul, renew your belief in kindness, and highlight what's truly important in life.